King Canute the Great was a prominent Scandinavian monarch and one of the most powerful rulers in Europe at the time. His legacy includes conquests, effective government, and the consolidation of a maritime empire that included England, Denmark, Norway, and parts of Sweden. In this video, we will detail the most important aspects of his life, his origin, ascension to power, conquest, and death. Let's get started. Canute the Great was born around 990 in Denmark into a royal family with a legacy deeply rooted in Viking history. He was the son of Svein Forkbeard, the king and conqueror of Denmark, and the grandson of Harald Bluetooth, who consolidated the Christianization of Denmark. And yes, you heard that right, our protagonist's grandfather was named the same as the technology we use today on our phones, Bluetooth. Canute grew up in an environment marked by war, politics, and the expansive ambitions of his lineage, which shaped his character as a leader and strategist. Canute's rise to power began with his father's death during an invasion of England. Svein Forkbeard had briefly usurped the English throne, but his sudden passing left Canute and his elder brother, Harald, to maintain control of their domains. In this way, while Harald inherited Denmark, Canute continued the English campaign. The conquest of England was an arduous and decisive process in his career. After facing resistance from the Anglo-Saxon King Ethelred II and his son Edmund II, nicknamed Ironside, Canute proved to be a formidable military leader. In 1016, after several key battles, including the crucial victory at Ascension, Canute and Edmund agreed to divide England. Canute would rule the north and Edmund the south. However, Edmund's sudden death shortly thereafter cemented Canute as the sole king of England. Canute took the throne and secured his legitimacy through strategic alliances. He married Emma of Normandy, widow of Ethelred II, which allowed him to gain the support of the Anglo-Saxon elite. In addition, he knew how to balance his reputation as a Viking conqueror with an image of a fair Christian ruler who respected local traditions. With political and military skills, Canute transformed his Viking heritage into a solid reign throughout England, laying the foundation for his maritime empire. This beginning marked the path of one of the most emblematic rulers of medieval Europe. Canute the Great's reign spanned a vast empire that included England, Denmark, Norway, and part of Sweden, cementing his position as one of the most influential rulers in medieval Europe. He obtained every throne through conquest, diplomacy, and political cunning, leaving a lasting mark on each territory. In 1016, Canute came to the English throne after defeating King Edmund II at the Battle of Ascension and consolidating his position after the latter's death. As king, his main achievement was stabilizing a kingdom marked by decades of invasions and civil wars. He maintained Anglo-Saxon laws and strengthened the administration through an efficient taxation system, such as the Danegeld, which financed his government and protected the kingdom. He also encouraged trade and strengthened ties with the church, winning the support of the clergy and legitimizing his reign. But this was only the beginning of the creation of a vast empire. In 1018, after taking England, Canute inherited the Danish throne after his brother Harald II died. This event consolidated his power in Denmark, using England's resources and stability during his reign. This protected the Danish coast from invasion and strengthened the economy through maritime trade. His rule in Denmark was the nucleus of his famous North Sea Empire, which we will discuss later. 10 years later, in 1028, Canute invaded Norway, overthrowing King Olaf II, Saint Olaf, with the support of the local nobility, who were unhappy with Olaf's rule. Canute ruled Norway indirectly through loyal Jarls, although he faced constant challenges. His reign ensured control of vital sea routes. Although he was not proclaimed King of Sweden, Canute exerted significant influence in the region, maintaining control over strategic areas near the Baltic Sea. In each territory, Canute balanced military force with effective administration. His legacy was establishing an empire united by trade, diplomacy, and the Christian faith, which ensured unprecedented stability in the North Sea region. One of Canute the Great's most significant achievements was the creation of the Northern Sea Empire, a maritime domain encompassing England, Denmark, Norway, and parts of Sweden during his reign. This empire united various territories under a single sovereign and transformed medieval Europe's political and economic balance. The combination of pragmatic management and astute religious strategy was key to its success. The North Sea Empire was a territorial expanse and a political and economic network based on controlling crucial trade and sea routes. England provided wealth and resources. Denmark served as the cultural and administrative hub. Norway guaranteed access to the North Atlantic, and Sweden, though not entirely under its rule, offered influence over the Baltic. This control allowed him to promote trade, particularly in goods such as furs, timber, and metals, strengthening the economy of his domains. In political terms, Canute consolidated his power through a fully centralized administration that respected local laws and customs. He established a system of loyal jarls and governors in Norway and Denmark. He used resources from England, such as the Danegeld, to finance his empire and maintain armies to protect his territories. Religion was another pillar of his reign. Canute adopted Christianity strategically to legitimize his authority in England and Scandinavian domains, where pagan roots were still strong. He promoted church building and strengthened the clergy. In 1027, he made a pilgrimage to Rome, reaffirming his image as a Christian king to the Pope and other European rulers. The Northern Sea Empire not only brought political stability and economic prosperity to the region, but also marked a turning point in cultural integration between England and Scandinavia, cementing Canute as a visionary and universal monarch. Interestingly, the most famous story associated with Canute the Great does not come from his conquests or policies, but from a legendary demonstration of humility and wisdom known as the Legend of the Tide. In this tale, handed down by medieval chroniclers, symbolizes the relationship between earthly power, the uncontrollable forces of nature, and God. According to legend, Canute at the height of his reign was surrounded by courtiers who constantly fawned over and extolled him as an all-powerful monarch capable of dominating the natural world. To teach them a lesson about the limits of human power, the king ordered him to be taken to the seashore, where he sat on his throne facing the waves. From his seat, Canute pronounced a solemn command, ordering the tide to stop and not wet his feet. As expected, the waves continued to move forward, ignoring the king's order and dampening the royal throne. Canute then turned to his courtiers and declared that no king, no matter how powerful, could stop the forces of nature, for God alone had that absolute power. Although some medieval chroniclers used this story to highlight Canute's Christian humility, others interpreted the scene as a criticism of excessive flattery and pride. What is clear is that Canute understood that the power of a ruler should be seen in its proper measure, not as omnipresence, but as responsibility and service. Although probably apocryphal, this legend cemented Canute's image as a wise ruler who was aware of his limits. Beyond the anecdote, it reflects the values of his reign, balance between power and humility, and the recognition that even the greatest monarchs are part of a higher order. As such, the legend of the tide remains a powerful symbol of leadership and prudence. Canute the Great died on November 12, 1035, in Shaftesbury, England, at approximately 45. Although historical sources do not offer precise details about the exact cause of his death, it is presumed that it was due to natural causes, probably related to common illnesses of the time. He was buried in Winchester's Old Cathedral, a resting place befitting his status as one of the most prominent monarchs in medieval Europe. His ability to maintain cohesion between such diverse territories enabled him to govern a vast empire for almost 2 decades. This, combined with his political, military, and administrative prowess, made his reign a period of prosperity and relative peace. However, his passing left a power vacuum his successors failed to fill. His sons, Harald Harefoot and Hardicanute, fought for control of the empire, and the lack of strong leadership quickly led to the fragmentation of their domains. By 1042, less than a decade after Canute's death, England returned to the control of the Anglo-Saxon dynasty under Edward the Confessor, and the Northern Sea Empire ceased to exist. Canute is remembered as a visionary and pragmatic ruler who balanced the Viking legacy with Christian influence and consolidated royal power through effective administration, diplomacy, and trade. His reign proves that a leader can integrate diverse cultures and political systems, transforming a conquered kingdom into a model of stability. The legend of the tide, his promotion of Christianity, and his ability to rule secured him a place as one of the great monarchs of medieval Europe, whose impact transcended his time and lands. Canute the Great figures prominently in medieval European history as a monarch who transcended the stereotype of the Viking warrior to become a visionary political leader. His reign, 1016 to 1035, marked a turning point in northern European history. Under his rule, he unified vast territories and laid the foundations for the region's political, economic, and cultural development. One of Canute's most significant contributions was the creation of the North Sea Empire, which united England, Denmark, Norway, and parts of Sweden. This empire ensured control of vital trade routes and fostered cultural and technological exchange between Anglo-Saxon and Scandinavian cultures. This period of stability allowed trade to flourish, strengthening local economies and promoted greater integration among the peoples of their domains. In England, Canute is remembered for his ability to consolidate royal power in a kingdom that had been fragmented and weakened by decades of Viking invasions. He established an efficient administrative system, preserved Anglo-Saxon laws, and promoted stability through strategic alliances, such as his marriage to Emma of Normandy. In addition, his ability to keep peace and ensure order caused England to prosper economically under his reign. In the religious realm, Canute played a key role in the Christianization of Scandinavia. His support of the church strengthened his authority as a legitimate ruler and helped consolidate Christianity in territories where pagan traditions were still strong. His pilgrimage to Rome in 1027 underscored his commitment to the faith and improved diplomatic relations with other European leaders. Canute's historical significance lies in his ability to combine military strength, pragmatic administration, and cultural vision. His legacy shaped the regions he ruled and set precedents for unifying and managing a diverse empire, making him one of the most influential monarchs of his time. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe.